Welcome everybody to the Room250 podcast.
One tiny pixel at a time.
We all have a room 250. It's that room where creativity happens.
Welcome back to Room 250, where creatives sit down, have a conversation, and hopefully inspire current and future designers to crush the creative goals one pixel at a time. I am Martin Ida Soy Bautista. I'm joined by David Patrick Sly, my other best friend Pete Peralta, and we have a special guest today, Jordan Kabalka. And yeah, Jordan used to go to AI with us, and he's a really good friend of ours. Okay.
All right. As you can tell,
He's
Martin,
good.
yeah,
A little
as you can tell,
stuck.
Martin doesn't do the intro that often. What's up, bro? Welcome to the podcast, man. So happy to have you on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No, for sure. We saw your comment, and you're like, "I'm one of the OGs of Room 250." And I'm like, "Yeah, you are, bro. Definitely." So we're still trying to figure out this whole podcast thing and when to shoot and how to shoot. I mean, this season we have better cameras and we fixed our lighting, and it's just yeah, man, it's great to have a conversation. Just so you know, we capped this at 3 hours, and we say this with every guest. 3 hours, you know, you're like, right now you're like, I'm not going to talk for 3 hours. It flies by, man. It flies by.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're like, holy crap, we got to do a part two. So,
Yeah.
But again, welcome, man. Welcome. What's everybody drinking?
Thanks. So
Jordan, want to go first?
I've got this Woodford Reserve. It's
Nice.
double
Okay.
oak. Yeah.
Very nice.
I'll go next. I'm going to Jameson Orange.
Nice.
Good. Goes
Yeah.
down lightly. Love it.
Don't need a mixer.
That one's sneaky. Yeah, that one you just want to just drink. Like,
Yeah.
this is something
I don't even feel it,
It's
man.
super
so
smooth. It's so smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm drinking water. So
water, yeah.
I'm still on that 30-day cleanse challenge thing. So trust me, man, I have a bottle right here that I want to open, but I don't want to
Counting
lose
down.
that.
We're counting
Yeah.
down. It's been, this is going to be week 2, Pete?
Yeah, week 2. I think I'm 10 days in or 12
Nice.
10 days in.
something like that. So
He's already having withdrawals.
yeah, I need it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I could definitely. Right now we have Jordan on here. I definitely want to drink. So
Yeah.
I got my water.
I've just got a Voodoo Ranger, Juicy Haze IPA, you know.
Those are good.
Nice.
Keeping it to beer.
Nice.
Well,
Martin,
cheers, gentlemen.
Lead
cheers.
it up. Cheers.
Lead it up, Martin.
Lead it
It's
up.
all you.
So, Jordan, you were also an alumni of AIGA. And like in a short, just really short, like what was your experience with AIGA? We already talked about our experiences, so our viewers know what it was. Like to us, AIGA was awesome. The price was a little high, but we felt like it was the cream of the crop of schools for graphic design. All the designers that left there knew what they were doing, and a lot of the designers that graduated and that were good have actually like risen to the top. You know, like us here and you. I don't want to say that you're a creative director, but I'm assuming you are. You're pretty up there. I mean, you should be because your work's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Right now I'm a design director at my agency, so not quite like a creative director, but you know, similar. You know, there's some overlap there.
For those who don't know, can you explain what your role is for your design director position?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not at like a typical like advertising agency. It's like we do a lot of video production, and we do a lot of like political campaigns and like advocacy work. So you know, just have a small design team and basically just head up. You know, take charge of like, you know, general direction of projects and you know, delegate work when needed. But and of course I design too, so it's all hands on deck. So, which I always think
I
it's
hear
like best for like creative directors and design directors who can actually like get in the shit and do the work. So,
Yeah.
Nice.
So, is it because of you that we got all this political stuff in the mail? Like 22 things for Kamala, 22 things for Trump.
we don't do any mailers, which is good.
Man, there's a lot of good money in that stuff, though, man. I have a buddy of
Yeah.
mine. He does commercials during the political time frame, and in 2 months he makes 40 grand, and he's just not even fact checking this stuff. He literally they tell him grab stuff from YouTube, put it together, and then that's it. Yeah,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
he made 40 grand in 2 months. Crazy, or a month, something
Damn.
like that. Nuts.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
we did. Yeah, we almost all our like this. We just got out of like the super busy season where it was
Yeah.
like just a ton of political ads.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, I think I
for
heard
sure.
that this election was the most expensive election ever. Like both sides were spending crazy amounts of money.
yeah. It was
For one side, they spend a stupid amount of money, but anyways,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
But
getting too
yeah,
technical.
so yeah, I guess going back to AIGA, I think like when like we were in school, like that was super important just because like it gave like access to like that high level of design that you know you normally just wouldn't like stumble upon. So it's sort of like a good like guiding light of like this is welcome to the design industry kind of thing, and it kind of like helps steer in a certain direction. But also like I remember like being a huge fan of Draplin, still am. And like
Yeah.
they brought him to Vegas, and I remember a group of us went and saw his spiel, and yeah, that was great. So I mean, I think overall, like being involved with AIGA was a positive, just pointing you in the positive direction as a designer.
Are you a part of AIGA right now?
I'm actually
Are you a
not.
member?
No, I don't.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, bro.
I probably should. We don't really have like a very big chapter here in Mobile, Alabama.
It's funny you
But
say that
I
because
have gone to a
when
couple like drink and draw things that they've done.
oh okay
Yeah.
yeah it's funny you say that there's not a big chapter. When I went to one of the like chapter retreats or like a national retreat, I
Yeah.
actually met one of the people that was on the Mobile,
Okay.
Alabama AIGA chapter thing, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then later, this was like before you had moved there. Then later you moved there, and I was like, oh shit, like I had never heard of this town in Alabama. And then
Right.
2 times I met this person, and then I know you now who live there.
Right. Do you know who it was?
I mean, I could look it up, but I don't know her name off the top of my head.
Yeah. It's all good. Yeah,
So you mentioned Draplin. Is he? Because you have a very specific art style. Sly, I put the links on our chat if you want to pull them up, and whenever you
Okay.
want to share. But yeah, Jordan has a very specific art style I think it's fucking dope. I fucking love it. It's very organic, and it feels very natural, and I don't want to say simplistic, but it's just very like high end, simple, fun to me. Like your design's very fun, and it just has so much energy. And is that where your inspiration for your specific art style? That's where you got it from. That's where it came from.
I guess definitely like early on, I took some influence from there. But then, I guess the more that I like did, drew more and posted things and, got more clients under my belt. By the way, Silver Stamp, you guys should check that out if you haven't gone
Yeah,
there yet.
it's a cool place.
Yeah, my friend Rose runs that with her partner. But yeah, like, I don't know. I think it was just like a lot of it is natural drawing style that I tend to lean into.
It's very organic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it's just like a lot of it's like, just the natural hand that I tend to. I don't know where it came from, but that's just kind of like the baseline, and then I'll kind of apply different. I'll try to fluctuate with like different styles and stuff, or play with different concepts or themes. But But yeah, I mean,
Like I could definitely see like where you were inspired by him, but you definitely made it your own and you just created this new different style that is I could really say that this is your art style. But I might be wrong. I don't know, a lot about art.
yeah, I mean, I think it's natural to like pull from a lot of different sources, though. You know, like I've always loved like vintage matchbooks or like just like the crude old like style of like art where it's like very simplistic, bold. Um, you know, I just have always loved that kind of stuff, and I also loved like like weird stuff like Polish film posters and just like weird stuff like that.
That's
if you ever-
random.
yeah,
Now I gotta look at that.
they're, they're bizarre, but they're like
Pulling it
super
up right
like,
now.
bold and like
I'm trying to find something for you, slide, but yeah, this. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I can see that now.
yeah.
Definitely, like see the little. It's not like
They,
Yeah,
they
this thing's
definitely
like.
vary, but they get super like if just weird.
Yeah.
But
Can you walk
Yeah,
us
there
through
you go.
your process of like
Process?
coming up with design? Yeah, like or not design, illustration. Can you walk us through your illustration? Like, do you start traditional or do you start on like an iPad, Procreate?
yeah, I used to just start like on paper and then snap a picture and bring it into like Illustrator or Photoshop. But now like with the iPad and Procreate, it's so much easier to just like speed up that process.
I have a question for you, Jordan. Why don't you
answer the
use
question.
Frest?
Hold on.
Let him,
Oh,
let
my
him
bad,
answer,
my bad, my
Martin.
bad,
Come
my bad,
on.
my bad, my bad. Well, it was right there. That's what I was like.
question.
All right, I'll ask you
Hey,
after. Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm gonna cut
Yeah,
you midway off right
Let
here.
me
Hold on,
cut
I
you
got a question
off.
for you. Fuck what you were saying. Let me. I got a question for you. Hold on.
All right, let's
Come
go
on,
back.
bro.
Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. All right, come on back.
So you were talking about it's faster to jump onto the iPad right now.
Yeah, I remember always wanting like a Cintiq, but like the price point of those are like crazy. Like
They're still
yeah.
crazy expensive.
they're still crazy, and they take up like
Yeah,
another.
it's a whole
desk.
monitor.
It's
Yeah.
it's just like huge. So, I mean,
This is
I can I can take this anywhere and like ideate, on a plane or on the toilet. It doesn't matter. Like I can, it's so portable and like the quality is so high. It's just like Apple really like changed the game. So yeah, a lot of my ideation, like it's basically my sketchbook at this point. Which sometimes I feel guilty about that because like there's something about a pen, paper
pen and paper.
tactile stuff that's
Yeah, traditional illustration. Yeah, nothing beats that. No
Yeah.
matter how much like paper texture you have on the iPad, or you try to have like the pencil on there, it will never beat the actual feeling the graphite to paper. And the kind of paper that you do. If it's
Yeah, the
cold
grain.
press, hot press, illustration, sketchbook, all that stuff. It's a whole different feeling.
Man.
But it is nice to do something digitally, and then you just kind of go back if you mess up, or all you have 10,000 markers at your hand, and they never run out of ink. So that's always fun to me. Because I agree with you. Like the Cintiq, till the day I still want one. I don't need one because I have an iPad too. But it's like they're just so badass. It's a whole. For those of you that don't know, it's pretty much a monitor or a giant ass iPad that you can illustrate and do Photoshop, everything that you can do right now in Adobe, but you're able to do it with a pen. And it's they're very old school, but they're just badass. I love them. You can use it as a second or third monitor, but your iPad is just as strong and powerful to do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
and then I mean, it kind of changed the game with like client work because like you can just like bust stuff out like, and it's
right
almost
there in front of them.
It's almost like ready to go from the iPad. Like I still do like take it into like either Photoshop or Illustrator and like clean it up a little bit, or if the client needs a vector, vector illustrations, I'll vector it out either with like a live trace or or trace it out myself. But usually I'll do like a live trace and kind of tweak it from there, just so it still has that, kind of hand drawn feel, depending on the project. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where it starts, and kind of finish it up in Adobe.
Are you you're talking about Adobe? Are you Adobe Fresco or Procreate?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Procreate, yeah.
Procreate, okay.
It's just like,
why?
I mean, when Fresco came out, I had already been using Procreate, and it was just so intuitive and easy to use. And I just I tried to use Fresco, and I was like, I just liked Procreate a little bit better. But I've been seeing something like the new versions of Fresco, and I'm like, wow, those they got some good features in there.
Yeah,
so I might have to check that out.
Yeah, and the you're talking about image trace. We on our last episode we were just discussing the Adobe Max stuff. That live trace feature that's coming out with the gradients. I mean, I could see you. I could definitely see you using that. I see a lot of gradients in your work.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like, that's pretty cool. They're making some good improvements. Aside from when you get the occasional bug.
Yeah.
I mean, you've definitely mastered your style, bro, from when we started at school to where you're at now. Like, you're definitely leveled up big time, but it's still cool to see that it's still that Jordan style, that Kabalka style that you've always had. I was always envy of you. I think in school, you were the only, in my mind, the one student that was way better than me that I couldn't keep up with. Because it's like, no matter what I tried, you had just a certain style. And even with graphic design, you were extremely talented. You definitely gifted. So that was always one thing I always kind of chase after you. Like, damn, after graduation, you became an art director immediately. And I'm like, damn, man, it took me a year to do that. And I was just like, I'm coming for you, Jordan. I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
But even though we have our separate styles, it's just so cool to see, you implement that into your design, into everything that you've done. I remember, I think it was a couple of years ago before COVID, where you had that Yeti for that music festival, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
that one was badass. Well, I don't remember the name of that project. Do you recall what it was? Sly, can you look that up, please?
Yeah,
I'm looking for it right now. This
music festival in Mobile, called, so before it was Mobile Bay Fest, and then I don't know, the people financing it dropped out, and then they had to rebrand it. And the agency that I was at decided to take that on, and so I got to work on the branding for that. And it was pretty cool, seeing your work on this big stage with all these artists. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But it was 1065 is what they renamed it to.
Oh, 1065.
Yeah.
What can you walk us through that process of how that happened?
Just the general branding of it, or
well, yeah, from the start, from when you guys got the project, your agency got the project, what steps you did to develop what you did, and then how did you present that to the client?
Yeah, it was a while ago, so let me kind of think back. It was kind of a whole start from scratch situation. So we had to ideate names, and we presented a shit ton of names, like a list, and then they finally landed on 1065, which is the interstate conjunction.
Okay.
So that's where they ended up landing on. And then I think we showed maybe a few different concepts, and so we had this kind of, it was pretty simple mark, but we also had that little Yeti mascot that was sort of hand drawn and kind of fun. People seemed to like it, so the client was stoked on it, and we kind of just ran with it. It was a quick turnaround, because
Nice.
Everyone in Mobile was we need this festival to still happen. So they're well, they found somebody to finance it last minute. And,
that's awesome.
So like the turnaround was like pretty quick after that.
This was in 2016. Wow, it feels like it was just yesterday.
I know. The illustration
Yeah.
just above was so that was one of my colleagues I did that specific one based on my original because like it was like so much stuff, like it was impossible for me to do like all the touch points. So yeah, my friend
Delegate.
Rachel did that one. But yeah, it was a quick turnaround, so we like just kind of busted all the stuff out and like.
How fast of a turnaround are we talking here?
I mean, we had to get like final approval on like, you know, the look, and like we had to start like basically producing assets in like 2 weeks.
Oh shit!
So
How many
like,
assets roughly?
I mean, pretty much like everything from like wristbands to, you know, some apparel options to, you know, stage, you know, the stage banners that go on like the top and the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing. Those banners that you did.
What else? Just like all the social media, like, you know, Instagram and things like that. We needed like maps for like, you know, the stages, because there was like stages like all around downtown.
Sly, you're still sharing, or are you showing stuff, or you just
Yeah, I'm trying to get into to his Instagram to show his stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. There's another link that I said here in the chat. I was like, because it was just standing there. So, well, obviously,
Yeah,
we're still
'cause
trying
I
to
was
figure
trying
out
to get
our podcast situation here. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy. A 2-week turnaround time frame, and then you know, this is the banner. I remember that Yeti. Just seeing all this stuff, I was just, yeah, that's Jordan. that's Jordan style for sure.
Yeah.
So it was super happy to see that from you. You know, slightly jealous too, because like, shit, man, that's awesome. Like, that's a huge flex. But it's just sick. So something like this, you're looking at, I don't know what, 1,000 different collateral assets that you need to produce with you and your team.
Yeah,
Social imprint.
It was definitely a lot for sure.
Like all these.
Yeah, I'm surprised that's the website still up. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's right. Trust me, I'm surprised
so
too.
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
2016. That's a while ago.
Who's paying
but
for
yeah,
that?
it was a lot of touch points and like in a short amount of time. And they even did it wasn't the first year, but the second year they did a actual mascot. Like we worked with like somebody to like reproduce like this little dude, and my friend Matt that worked at the agency would like, you know, he was the man behind under the costume. It was
nice.
Oh look,
it's pretty hilarious.
So for something like this, what was the price tag? Can you share?
Oh man, I'm not really sure. I mean, gosh, if I were to, I don't even know if I could really guess because I wasn't involved with the pricing of it, but I'm sure it wasn't, you know, inexpensive because I mean they did like a whole lot. It went on for a few years, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years or something, and then they like changed it to something else. I think somebody else had like, you know, either took over the finances or something like that. But yeah, I couldn't even tell you the price tag on it, but I'm sure it was. I mean, it couldn't have been cheap.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff, dude. Website,
I'm sure.
Print.
I would hope it was a fat paycheck for the agency. Now, are you still at the same agency when you did this project, or you moved somewhere else?
No, so that was done at Red Square, and like I was there for a long time. I was there for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the agency. When I moved from Vegas to Mobile, that's where I went to.
Oh, okay.
And then like the year that I left, they merged with an agency in Reno and rebranded to Good Giant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
So actually, the creative director lives in Vegas right now. But yeah, so lost track of what I was saying. But yeah. So no, I was Red Square. I was there for almost 10 years, and then in 2023 I went to an agency called POOLHOUSE, which is where I'm at now.
Is that the hoodie?
Oh yeah.
Nice. That's cool. So what kind of work are you doing there now? What kind of clients do you guys have?
Yeah, so that's mostly like where we deal with a lot of the political clients and
Gotcha.
like,
Yeah.
and like advocacy stuff. Yeah.
It's a cool website.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quick
I'm in the
little
middle of like redesigning it right now, which is pretty intense.
The
you're in
website
the
or
process right now?
The
rebranding?
website, and doing like a sort of not like a rebrand, but like sort of like a brand refresh, and
Refresh.
just the overall
Okay.
visual language of it.
Cool.
How big is this agency?
I think we're about maybe 25 people, something like that.
Oh,
How many?
How many designers?
You're the art director or creative director?
Design director.
Design director. That's right.
So it's like a small team. So right now it's just me and my senior designer. When I joined, it was three of us, but like we're like going through some restructuring and figuring some things out. So one of my goals is to kind of grow the team, and kind of steer it.
Awesome.
Steer the design.
You're
vision
hiring
over there.
Nice, man. Hey, if you ever need freelance, let me know if I can help out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not even joking, but just a quick backstory. I remember before you left Vegas when you bought your new truck, and I forgot where you were working at, but you're like, you couldn't get the registration quite yet, so it was just parked on the side of the house. You're like, yeah, there's my new truck. I can't drive it because the registration is like $1,000.
That was crazy. Yeah. So like after graduation, I was like, I'm gonna get something nice, and so like I got that, which is
What
like,
truck was it?
it was just like a 2-door Dodge Ram, like with a V8. It was pretty sick. Like,
Oh
Yeah, it was.
it was a
badass.
fun truck. Like, had the nice like wheels on it and stuff. But yeah, no, it was fun. But yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, the registration was crazy. I was like, oh shit! Like I didn't even think about that when I bought it. I was like, so
Yeah,
stupid.
because I think you were roommates at the time with Jacob and Christian.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and I came over and we were all hanging out, and then Jacob's like, look, there's Jordan's truck, and you came out and you're like, yeah, you like it? I can't drive it. It's not registered. I just drive it around the block. That's about it.
Yeah, I think
That's
that might have been
funny.
like a week of like waiting to do that, but yeah, it's crazy. Like if I still kept that truck, I could sell it for the same price that I bought it, just with how inflation is.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. No, that was a really nice truck. I remember that. That's a really cool gift that you got yourself.
Yeah.
Now,
I got a question.
Did you have a? Oh, go ahead, Slack.
I was just gonna ask you, how's the culture from Vegas to Alabama? Like, was that a big shift for you?
Yeah, it was big time shift, because I mean, Mobile is like, it's a pretty small city compared to Vegas. I mean, Pete, you came out. It's a pretty like, it's definitely like different. Like it's got that quaint Southern charm, for the most part. It's a lot slower. I would say like, yeah, it's way different. I remember when
Definitely a slower paced.
Yeah.
When I first came out here, the agency that hired me, they put me up in I think maybe the same hotel that you stayed at, Pete, maybe. And I remember getting in the bed, and it felt like I felt like the bed sheets were wet, because it's like the humidity here is
So
like,
humid.
Oh, the humidity.
like at that point, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I could deal with this, but luckily that was like a one-time thing. But
Do you feel like you've acclimated?
yeah, kind of. I mean, the
Nah,
summer,
the humidity
summers
sucks, dude.
the summer they're like brutal here. It's like 3 months of just sweating your ass off nonstop.
Would you rather come back to Vegas heat or stay there in that heat?
Honestly, I think I prefer Vegas heat slightly.
Try.
Because I mean, it's you know, it's you still sweat, but it's like
you could get away from the heat and go into your house.
Yeah, but it sucks either way. It sucks either way.
Yeah.
In Tennessee, when I was in Tennessee, you're outside and then you got to change your shirt if you just took out the trash. And then here you can't even go outside because it's just too damn hot, you know. So it sucks either way. But so did you get that job? Did you apply for that job with Red Square and then move to Alabama, or did they reach out to you? Kind of recruited you.
So I applied for it. So like I actually saw them on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, this agency's cool. Like, they do cool work." And they were like, "We're hiring an art director." I was like, And then I read the description. I was like, I could do all that shit. And then I just reached out, just because at that time, when we graduated, there wasn't that much going on in Vegas as far as like design goes. Like, it was like kind of like a rough job market, I thought. And I had applied at I applied at like Zappos and a couple of other agencies. I think I actually interviewed at Brain Trust. I don't know if they're still around.
Yeah, they still are.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. But at that point, I was, coming out here to interview. But yeah, I reached out and then I didn't really expect to hear back, and they did. And they're like, "Do you want to come out and, see Mobile?" I was like, "Sure. I mean, why not?"
That's
so
awesome.
I was kind of keeping my feelers out for kind of just anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Any agency that was willing to, hire me at the time. I interviewed at Young and Larimore at that time too. It was out in Indianapolis, so could have went to a couple different.
Did you care where any place was, or you were just looking to get out of Vegas?
I wasn't necessarily looking to get out of Vegas. I just wanted to go to an agency where I could do some
cool
good work, I guess, or somewhere that I could sort of grow or do the work that I had admired, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. Because here in
sure.
Vegas, you do the casino stuff, you do the gaming shit, you do the car stuff, and then you slap a Gold Knights logo on everything now. So it's Vegas market to other markets are definitely different. So it's awesome to see.
It's funny. It's I went out when I got to Red Square. Their biggest clients were gaming clients. So I was working on a ton of casino stuff when I went out there. This is
That's funny.
So, but all their clients were mostly Hard Rock in Tulsa, Oklahoma casinos, and they're since then they've got a bunch of different clients and different categories and stuff like that. But I left Vegas and then still worked on casino stuff.
That's
funny.
funny.
Just couldn't escape it, man.
Yeah, it's funny.
But that's cool.
So you mentioned that. Go ahead.
Back off. Go ahead.
So you mentioned that you guys are looking for a designer, and you guys are hiring. What are you guys looking for? If anybody from Alabama is looking for a design job,
or just in general, you as the art director, what do you look for when you hire a junior or a senior? What makes their portfolio or the resume stand out?
I mean, definitely I think
just for example, yours.
Pretty clear.
Oh, yeah, let me pull that up if I can.
For example, yours, Jordan, back in the day, your resume was squared away from just being a junior designer. I remember you had yourself being you were a floaty naked guy.
that was when people were trying to get real crazy with resumes.
Yeah,
and
yeah. No, I remember yours. Yours would move
I remember I
around and
like
shit.
illustrated it mine.
Yeah. So,
But
Do you
yeah,
have
what do you
that
look
anywhere?
for?
I would have to. I don't know where that would exist,
Okay.
but I
No,
would.
I was just wondering.
So, what is a junior or a senior? What do you look for in their portfolio when you interview them, or for you them to get an interview with you?
I think it would just be like, um, I guess like the breadth of like the projects, like, and there's an obvious level of like, uh, skill that you can see, like their, uh, how they use like composition, or whether or not they like did all the assets that they're showing in the portfolio. Because like, you know, that's one thing that I always ask. Like, if I look at a portfolio, is like, did you do that, or like, did you do that? Like, what are the aspects that you actually did in this?
Yeah.
But if they're like, you know, pulling all these like assets together and like creating them themselves, I always think that's a pretty impressive level. But I mean, just overall, like, the portfolios, like, they vary so much. So between like a junior and a senior, it's like, if you have a senior level, they're obviously working on like, more high level projects, and it's just it's pretty obvious. But like, if it's like a junior designer, it's like, if they have like really great student work, um, that would catch my attention. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, clients that they worked on. It's just like, do they know how to like, do this stuff at like a high level? And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, just depends.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, Martin.
Go. Sly had a question, right?
We
No.
we all raised our hand at the same time, and the question
Yeah,
came and it
right.
went.
How do you feel about, you were mentioning like, handcrafted stuff, and yeah, like I love that. How do you feel about the AI and generative fill? Are you using it in your agency? Are you straying away from it? Are you trying it out? Because
Um,
that's what a lot of young designers are gearing to. Like that's how they're teaching them now. Because that's like, if you look at the Adobe conference, Adobe Max, a lot of it is that, generative fill, create
yeah.
with AI.
Um, as far as like, I don't really. So I'll use it for like expanding backgrounds, or like if I get an asset that's like halfway cut off, um,
Mm-hmm.
or upscaling some like poor assets, that I have to work with. Um, but I will use like, if I have to do like, if I'm given like a storyboard and I have to like design like the text and like the overall feel of like a video spot for on screen, um, I'll use the storyboard prompts, or like the shot
AI.
list prompts, and just plug that into Midjourney. That way I have like a background to, design on. So like, if you don't have like, the assets that, you need for the project, or, to convey the idea, I'll use it, but it's never going to be like a final, um, I guess, product. It's more so like, you know, preliminary, getting ideas across.
Yeah.
Um, and like, I think like I've used it for, so I needed a bunch of like, clothing tag, like label, like just blank ones. So I just like, prompted it to give me a bunch of different, like clothing labels, so I could present a logo on it. And so that was kind of cool. That was a kind of a cool use
Mm.
case. I think like for mock-ups, like it can be pretty powerful. Um, But overall, like, I don't know, it's kind of sketchy for me. Like
Yeah.
when it's like, if people are using it for like illustration or like primary creative, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It also has like this AI look to it. Like if I seen
Yeah.
it, I'm like, that's AI, or like
Yeah.
it just has this certain like polish or sheen to it that you can just tell immediately.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe
Yeah.
it. That sheen to it, and
Yeah.
that look to it. It's just like, yeah, that's AI. And
Yeah.
I feel like designers at our level are okay, but new people that are starting, it's a lazy way to design. They're like, oh, I'll just prompt it and put this stuff together. But it's those fine little details of knowing how
Yeah.
to use those elements that the new students kind of lack. I
Yeah.
know I use Midjourney for concepts. I do the exact same thing when I need to
Yeah.
present something, and I'm a team of one. Hey, do my prompts, and then okay, this is the idea. This is the look and feel. What do you think? And then we go from there. But it's definitely a huge help for that initial launch.
Yeah.
It saved me hundreds of hours for sure.
Yeah, man. Like,
Have
yeah, for concepting, I think it can be useful, especially if you're going like a specific direction. Like you need like certain like a photo style. You might be able to like if you're good at like prompting it, you can probably get it to be in the ballpark of like what you're envisioning. If you can't find it online or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, concepting I think can be a decent.
How do you feel about Adobe? You know, taking some of the assets that you're working on, if you're not opting out of it, taking your assets and using it to train their AI models.
See, that's where I think is pretty sketchy because that's when it dips into like I don't know
stealing
the
territory.
Secrets.
Say it, bro. It's motherfucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit.
property.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if you want like you could prompt it to be like design me a poster like Shepherd Fairy or something, and like the only reason that AI can do it is because it's it's bit his style,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
so
No,
I
for sure.
think there's like a moral thing there
I want all of my art to look exactly like Jordan Kabalka's art.
I'm gonna do that
Spits
tomorrow,
it all
bro.
out.
I'm gonna
Boom,
do
boom,
that
boom,
shit
boom, boom.
tomorrow, man.
I don't think AI's caught on to me yet.
Nah, okay. We'll see, man.
Just,
So you guys, this question for all of us, like, have you guys done any final creative just using like Midjourney or AI?
just
I know
that,
somebody
like
who
nothing
has
else.
though, but
I
no.
don't think so.
Like just
Probably like the background elements or like 90% of the creative with the AI, because we've done.
Oh,
I
I've
think
done
like
like
one.
background things like like a blurred like arbitrary like random background, but like
Mm-hmm.
as far as like key artwork, like I don't think you can. Well, I mean, you probably could, but like we don't because like
Yeah.
we were like messing around with like we had like a set of ads and we needed like a specific these people doing a specific thing and it's just like it doesn't get features right. It's like
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the teeth like will like blend into the gums or it's just like something's wonky with it, like like the arm of the eyeglasses like go through their skin or something. It's just like these weird little things, so I think you would have to like heavily Photoshop them to
Yeah.
really get it like the way that you would the last thing you want I think is for somebody to call you out that you used AI for like like a big project, I think.
Yeah, like a cover.
Yeah, like with you dealing with like covers and stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough to like get some final artwork as far as that goes. I've seen some impressive stuff where it's like like I don't know if it's like a flower or something, it'll create like a beautiful image of a flower, almost perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I think like something like that's probably if you needed that for something, I don't know. it's weird. Like
small things.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like just sampling artwork, I think that's kind of not good.
And that's, I don't know, man. I feel like that's the future we're headed. I feel like that. That to me, I don't think it might happen, but it looks like it might happen. Like I was watching the Adobe Max conference on YouTube, and I didn't get to finish this one section, but they were showing how an artist was using AI to create like this workflow using that. I was like, holy shit, is this going to be the future of design? Or at least in some areas, some agencies are going to be working like that, where they're just going to be prompt designers and design like that. It's just interesting to see where where we're headed.
AI
Right now, we're in
stuff.
that gray area. Yeah, but I think we'll see in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, and I think you can use it like to maximize workflows and stuff. And like if you're like a one man band and using it for like mock-ups and like there's like ways to use it where I think it can like be like an assistant in a way, but
yeah, be more efficient.
Yeah, my friend Longo Designs, he had a whole presentation on like how he kind of maximizes his workflow, leveraging the tools that AI has. Like he's already a great designer, but he is kind of finding ways to kind of make AI like help him at scale his business.
Yeah. Dude, if you think about it, if you're like a one-man team, you team up with ChatGPT to create like really good headlines, and then you use the Adobe Products AI system, and you could bam, work faster. Because it's really hard for us to create copy.
Yeah, I think for especially if you're a designer, like if you have like just your own shop, you just use a designer, and otherwise you have to like hire out for copywriters, which
that's expensive too.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but for I in a way feel bad, like because I have friends who are copywriters, and I mean it just depends. Like if you have if you have a client, their budget's tiny and they don't mind that you use ChatGPT.
You're going down that route now.
I feel like it's the same though with illustrate or not illustration, but like the photo AI with the copywriting AI. Like there's only so many variations that it's going to spit out, and eventually it's going to become kind of the same plug and play. Yeah. Oh, you want this specific item with this specific call to action, and it's going to spit out those things, and eventually it's going to be the same things being spit out left and right, just slight variations where you're going to be like, oh yeah, that's a AI generated like tagline or headline sort of thing. So
it's like the whole stock thing, right? When we're all using the same stock, we're all using the same images. And at first it was kind of like, oh wow, these are already pre-made. We just grab them and do it, and it makes our job easier. We don't have to hire a photographer. But then eventually what happens is like you see that same image used that you use for your ad somewhere else, and like I think now I'm kind of used to that. Like if I see the same image used for a creative, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's part of it. And I wonder if that's what's going to happen. But
you can, when you see stock stuff, you can tell like the budget on specific projects. It's like, they couldn't,
like I've seen that
budget,
on Shutterstock before. Like,
they couldn't afford to go out and get the photo shoot and do what they actually wanted to do, so they had to find as close as possible.
Here in town, I see that with when football season starts. You see the same. The same photographer
for restaurants
that does a whole new photo shoot, and then they all use it. What I'd like to see is just how different each designer uses that same image, though. I mean, me working in media now with the magazine, myself and the Weekly and Las Vegas Magazine and Vital Vegas, we all get the same assets. So it's interesting to see, okay, how do they lay their stuff out compared to like how I do my stuff. Sometimes you can't help it, especially like dealing in media. Like we did the stuff for the Killers, and 3 magazines had the same cover. You know, so it's like, but it was per the PR people for
Yeah.
the band that says
Oh
this
yeah.
is the image that you have to use, and it's like shit. Okay, well, how can we make
How
this
do you
different? You
utilize
really can't. Yeah, you know, so it's almost kind of like a school project. It's like, all right, everyone gets the same shit. How's yours going to be any different
Yeah.
than anybody else's? And you're
Yeah.
like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But you know, to go back to the AI thing, I don't think that is the future that we'll see because, well, we're the ones who are in charge of the future right now. We're the ones in the position of power and leadership. So it's also on us to, you know, guide the junior designers and senior designers to use those tools. Yes, use them, 100% use them, but to use them the right way to help you achieve your final goal, not to fully present your campaign or your illustration just using AI. You know,
Yeah.
like for CSN, there was a student that her entire portfolio was AI, done with Firefly. All she did was slap text on it. And I'm like, zero, you got a zero. You got a zero for me all the way across. Like, I would not hire you. I would not interview you. Nothing. Like, all you did was just prompts and slap text on it and call it a portfolio. And that's not going to get you a job, at least not with me.
No,
Yeah.
I think that to counter your thing, Pete, is like if I do see a designer that does what you said, like all AI, I would probably ask him like, how long did it take you to prompt this specific ad or this specific project? And if she tells me like, oh, I did this for 4 hours and I prompt section by section and I prompt this and this and this and this, then I would probably be like, okay, cool, different type of style of design, but the end result, because what I learned from college is I was traditional, right? And when I was in high school, I was like, this digital shitting and a fucking blow up. No way. That's so crazy. Traditional. But what I learned in college at the Art Institute was it doesn't matter how you get to the end, as long as the end looks good and it's amazing, nobody's going to question how you got there. So I think I'd be willing to see a prompt artist and hire them if they really took their time and spent their time doing it, not just prompt 30 minutes or
Okay.
10 minutes and I'm
Prompting
done.
and refining.
Okay,
is
but
what you're
then
saying.
when you give them an ad that they have to do and then put all these copy, how are they going to do that?
Oh,
shit?
I would expect them to be able to prompt.
Like,
their
I
way
can't
to the
prompt
end.
this. I can't prompt this. Firefly won't
Then
let me
you're
do this
fired.
brochure. Yeah, then
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to hire them. That's the thing. Like, if
Yeah.
you only do prompts and that's the only thing you do, you're not going to be a designer in this industry. You're going to work for yourself and create a bunch of shit that you're ripping people off. But no, yeah, okay. You're saying it took you 4 hours to prompt this shit. Okay, what can you do in Photoshop in 4 hours? What can you do in Illustrator in 4 hours? You know, if I'm giving you a brochure or a campaign or a resize, and you're like, resize? What's a resize? Like, yeah, no, you have to know all that stuff. It's not just about designing and using AI. There's other fundamentals. You know, typography, you know, styles, you know, paragraph styles, you know, 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit. You know how to get rid of banding, like all of that shit. There's stuff that goes into it, not just, I could use prompts and make a cool bird and a cool flower. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think if somebody was doing that, like prompting every little aspect and, you know, making that their portfolio, I'd be like, you just need to be like an art director, and you don't need to be like, you know,
because you
actually
could just real life prompt it, right?
Yeah.
At that point, you're like, yeah,
real life prompt it. Like that's
exactly.
I mean,
yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, the toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't really get it back in. It's just going to come down to the ethics of it. Like at my company, we have like we put together like a AI ethics. You know, we don't really, you know, basically we only use it for like internal ideas. And then like expanding backgrounds of like existing assets.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that's really interesting. I like that. I like you guys have like a code of conduct for AI.
Yeah.
And you know what? That makes your agency look really really good. I might bring that up to my company because I feel like, our clients need to be aware. I don't know. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Should clients be aware when you're using AI or not? Should they be advised, hey, we created this using AI, parts of these are AI? I don't know.
How would you feel? How would you answer your own question like that? If you were the client and I came to you and I'm like, hey, I did all this shit through AI.
The way I am is like, as long as the end product is good and it looks good, like I'm not gonna question it. But also,
Martin's
too,
like, I don't give a fuck
Okay,
as long
okay.
as this shit looks nice.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Here,
But
invoice me.
yeah,
I don't
this
care.
goes back
that's
to
how
our
I feel.
other.
But that's why I'm asking that question, because that's how I feel about it right now. I'm trying to get other people's perspective so I could expand my mind and see it from your perspective. Because the way
So
I
that
see
goes
it now,
back
it's like, as long as the end goal is good, like I'm happy.
to our previous episode. We were talking about, Adobe, Jordan. We were talking about Adobe has, I can't remember what specifically, commercially. They can use their AI generated art commercially without any issues, versus like somebody who uses like Midjourney or something like that. Like, you don't know where that's getting pulled from. So, Martin, you say, somebody can bring you that artwork, and as long as it looks good, it looks good. But if that's not something that's generated, I hate to say it, through Adobe, you don't know if it's going to be pulled from somebody else's artwork and being used somewhere else. So you got to be like cautious with that stuff, because
Yeah, but my
AI
agency
generated
only
artwork.
uses. But our
No, but
agency only
if
uses
you're a client
Adobe
and the-
products, right? But
But if you're a client and the designer brings you something AI generated, how do you know that it's legit?
you don't. Clients aren't gonna ask you like, is this AI, or is they're not
But you said,
knowledgeable
as
in
long
that
as it
field
looks good.
yet. Yeah, that's how I would see it, and I think that's how a client would see it. Most clients aren't going to ask you, is this AI or is this like handcrafted, right?
But I think you need to specify if it's AI or not, because if you're not specifying it, then people are going to think that it's handmade, and then they're going to want to go to that designer, and then it's just going to spiral into something where maybe
It might,
not,
yeah.
I think if
generating
it's
stuff.
something that's like super style specific,
Mm-hmm.
I think you gotta like disclose, because like, what if they need more of those assets, and like,
Oh, you're
That's a good
right.
point.
it's going to
That's a
be
really
way
good point.
trickier to like try to replicate it in a different like format, or like, but if it's like a vertical image and like, oh, we want one that's like horizontal, you could do it probably, but it's going to have that AI sheen to it, and it's going to be
Yeah.
like it's
No,
it's
you're right. You're
tricky.
going to shoot yourself in the foot. Like, if you would have created all your stuff for your music festival in AI, and then they would have come back the next year like, hey, we want to expand on it, change it up, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I gotta go back and like, how the hell did I prompt this last time? Because it doesn't save a record, right? And it doesn't do the same thing. Like, it won't do it exactly the same. It always does whatever it wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I feel like there's some people that can like prompt things to like carry the same style throughout, like but I like it's gonna end up biting you in the ass. Like,
Yeah.
I would feel like a fraud constantly.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you on that one, Jordan. It's you're like,
No
I just feel
disrespect
like an
to
imposter.
anybody.
I feel like an
Yeah.
imposter.
No.
Fuck that.
No,
I
you-
don't care about
no,
that.
we don't.
Like, it's just, if you're using AI and call yourself an artist, I don't believe you whatsoever. So,
Yeah.
but
We've
I
done,
would
like,
definitely-
some
I
AI
use AI elements. Sure, I will use AI
Yeah.
elements, but it's not the it's like using MSG in your soup or your food. It's just gonna enhance the flavors.
whoa,
But that shit ain't good
that's
for you.
proven
That
wrong.
shit
Don't
ain't
come
good
after
for
my
you.
MSG, okay?
Yeah, don't come after
Don't come
MSG,
after my
bro.
MSG.
They already
You know
debunked that. They
tingly
debunked
feeling,
that
that tingly
information.
feeling. I remember
I
just
use
because I said that.
MSG
Just
sometimes.
because I said that tingly feeling. Jordan used to work out with me, and I didn't know that he doesn't really take caffeine, and he chugged half a
Oh.
pre-workout, and he was like,
Dude,
Oh shit.
"Dude,
I was
dude, what's going on?"
I'm having like an insane panic attack right now.
Come with me right now.
I was just like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was gonna like crawl out of my skin.
Yeah, I was like, "Go run some laps," and literally you see him like fucking 4 laps. Just I'm like, I think you just ran a mile, bro.
Yeah.
After
Okay,
that,
so-
he never had it.
Talking about working out, I want to ask you, how do you balance your work life stuff?
I mean,
you know,
honestly, it's right now. It's like the only things that I do right now are like work and baby. That's it. Like,
Yeah, I was just say he's got a
I-
baby,
I-
bro. He ain't got time for nothing.
like
You guys know that.
You'll be in that boat soon, Martin.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We'll leave it up to chance. I don't know, bro. I'm 40, man. I'm 40. Let the universe.
You've been
God
lazy
will
since
decide
30.
for me.
Yeah.
40.
Bro, I enjoy coming home and not fucking dealing with kids. I'm sorry, guys. Kids are a pain in the butt. You guys know that shit. I enjoy coming home and just fucking chilling and having a drink. You know,
I love my
smoking.
kids.
Yeah,
kids.
but no.
There
I
is
love my
something
boys.
too, like that. You'd be starting all over again.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Now, like, I like had my time of like just me doing my own thing for like so long.
Yeah.
But honestly, like 40 for guys is like the new 30. As far as, like, having
Thanks,
kids.
man. You make me
Yeah.
feel good.
For having kids, like
Still young.
like everyone's having kids later, I think. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, me and my wife are definitely gonna try next year if it happens.
I mean, you
it
have a
happens.
kid. You have a kid,
Have a
but this
kid.
time
Yeah.
it'll be different for you.
Yeah,
But, no,
different
yeah,
experience. Yeah, I look forward to it, and I don't. You know,
Yeah, work-life balance is pretty.
rough.
It's dictated based on my daughter.
Yeah.
So if we're doing
That's what
something,
it should be.
she's it's got to revolve around her pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, for years I just was like burning the candle at both ends, like nonstop, like agency, and then I would like draw a ton at night, and then that snowballed into like more and more clients, and
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of like kept that going, and now I'm like, some days I'm just like, oof, I don't know, I can't. I like don't want to do anything.
I feel you on that one, man. Especially like having little ones.
Yeah.
I was the same way like you, man. It's just it's an obsession that we have with this stuff. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, and you just want to do stuff, and you have ideas in the middle of the day when you're doing your corporate shit, and just like, man, this would be fun if I did something else. And I mean, I was roommates with
Right.
Martin, and he noticed it too. With like, I work all day, and I come home, I eat, and then I just go back to it, and I'm like learning new shit, and like, how does this motion work? How does video editing work? And learning about typography and learning InDesign more, and you just burning at both ends of the candle.
Yeah.
And it's great because you get more clients and all that other shit. But like now being a dad, for me, I'm like, I want to play with my kids, man. Like I'm good. I don't need to do that shit. Like when I can, sure, for sure. Especially stuff we're doing here for the podcast. But then there's days where I'm like, I just want to be with the wife and watch fucking Tulsa King and be with my boys.
Yeah.
It's like I'm relaxing, But right now my balance is pretty much week on, week off. So I take a week off and not do any design at night, and then the next week freaking do a bunch of shit that I need to do, and then just back and forth. And it to me it helps because it gives me that addiction that I want or that I have.
Yeah.
So
I'm surprised that like you're doing that, Pete, because like when I lived with Pete, I'd wake up and what are you doing? Design all weekend, all day. Design. And I love graphic design, but I love living too. And I think we talked about this. There's different levels of creatives. There's your everyday creative designer like me and Sly. Like, sorry, Sly, I'm pulling in with me, but I like to life balance and stuff.
Don't you group me with you? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm grouping you with me. No, I like to go to work. I love design. I love my craft.
Yeah.
I love giving back to my community. So I even feel like I'm doing a little bit more and I've done, but I'm not at the level of you guys where you're just like, come home design, weekend design. And, and you did do a lot of you still did a lot of stuff, but you're on a different level and that's cool. We all have our different, lifestyles.
Paths in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on how like hungry you are to like either level up or like it depends on your content, I guess. Like I think
And priorities too, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean that's that's probably number one or two. It's like yeah. And going back to like the work-life balance, like I work from home. Like my company's actually they're based in Virginia. So
oh shit.
Nice.
Okay.
yeah. So that's like
Cool, man.
being able to like do that and like take a break, go see my daughter for like just moments throughout the day. I think that's like just awesome.
Yeah.
It can be like super distracting though. Like I have to like
Me and Pete
like,
can definitely attest to that.
yeah, I'll be in a call sometimes, and like my daughter will like come up and like, you know, she'll make an appearance on there. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, work like that, it's always tough. You just have to like set boundaries for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, for sure, especially working from home. So you work from home right now. You're full time remote.
yeah, yeah,
You
That's
set
pretty
your own
awesome.
hours?
It's awesome and it sucks at the same time because you can't really
you're right.
bounce shit off other
It's
designers immediately.
yeah. Like ever since 2020, like when I was at Red Square, that was it like March or whatever. We're like, all right, we're all gonna like work from home for a couple weeks. Here I am, 4 years
Couple
later.
weeks. Yeah.
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 So, but yeah, I mean, I've figured out a way to, make it work, and I do miss the, going into work sometimes.
Did they have an office there
Yeah,
before?
they have a full office there. Um,
No, I mean like where you're at. Did they have a full office where you're at in Mobile?
oh no, they so I'm the only employee in Mobile.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Yeah. There's a couple other, maybe one other remote guy. Um, but yeah, they have an office in. I I was possibly going to be moving to Atlanta when I got this job, but like at that same time I was having my daughter, and so they're just kind of understood that like that would be super difficult to like make that move.
Yeah, yeah.
But they have like they're in Virginia, Atlanta, and DC. So
Oh, okay.
but
Oh wow. So
yeah,
so most of the employees are remote, or you're just the one that's remote?
so me and the senior designer were remote, and then
Gotcha. Okay.
it kind of works out because we got the split offices, and we all just zoom in when we need.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have your own office at home?
Yeah, kind of. So my office is basically our living room.
Okay, so you don't have an office. Gotcha.
Yeah, not really. It kind of is, and it kind of isn't. But it's sort of like my wing of the house. That's just like my office area. But yeah, it works.
Nice.
Pete,
Yeah,
do
I
you
mean,
work remote too? Are
Not
you
all
remote?
the time. Not all the time. No, no. I'm like not even
But you
hybrid,
can.
to be honest.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So we have pretty much a good liberty because there's times where I'm like I'm just gonna work from home, and there's times that I need to be in office. So I'm trying to. My direct boss is old school, and kind of wants people there, but it's only four of us for the entire magazine. So there's certain times where I'm like, well, if none of you are here in the office, why the fuck am I here in the office by myself?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not like it's just us in the office, it's other departments too, so it's distracting. I'm like, I have my own office here that I could close the doors, play my music, have my screen set up and everything, or be in a cubicle with no inspiration and it looks like I'm in a warehouse. Like I'd rather
No.
be at
No.
home. So
Yeah.
I don't mind going into an office if it was something like WeWork, but I hate the office that we're at. To me, it's not inspiring. It's not
No.
fun. It's cool to chit chat with like the social media team and my direct company when we need it. But other than that, I could do everything at home. My monitor is better at home. Like I get my setup
Yeah.
and like Jordan said, I could see my kid, throughout the day. I mean, they were just knocking on the door right now, like trying to get in. So,
Yeah.
like that's fun. That's one of the perks for me from working from home. Save on gas and lunch too. Just go downstairs and
true.
snack.
Yeah.
Do my little hippie speed bowl. And then a shot of espresso, and I'm good to go. I'm
Let's go.
brainstorming right there.
Yeah.
It's not your
shit.
full remote, right? You're home all the time.
Everybody on my team is remote, but I go in, like Pete, when it's necessary. So I'm usually in the office every Thursday, just because my boss likes to have in-person meetings. But I'll go in for that meeting. Maybe I have some print stuff I have to do. So I'll do those printing and then I'll just head home. And my daughter just started pre-K this week, so it's been nice to be able to actually go like with them to pre-K,
Nice.
go pick them up, and not have to
That's
be like
awesome,
at
bro.
work,
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I saw that Instagram post that you put up.
Yeah, man, very emotional. For
I
sure.
know. I can't imagine like. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we just have a nanny, because like we don't want, we're not ready to like send her to daycare yet. So
Yeah,
I don't
it's
like,
expensive.
I don't know, man.
Dude, it's a whole new salary for a kid, man. I think here in
Mhm.
Nevada it was like $1,500 for one kid or something like
Yeah, I
that.
know.
And I'm like,
It's stupid.
I have two.
Man,
so,
dude,
my
damn my strong sperm.
Yeah, my company posted like, oh, we posted an article. It's like, oh, you have to make $115,000 to live in Las Vegas, and I
Oh yeah,
went to my
yeah.
boss,
That's
and I was
right.
like,
yeah.
hey, so this article that we wrote, like, what's going on? I have 2 kids.
Yeah,
Haven't heard
I saw
anything
that.
back.
Yeah, cost of living. I was like, okay, I'm about $20,000 short.
No, it's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. Like, we're gonna have a kid. Well, a lot of people do this. They have their kids, and then you just take your kids to a place and leave it there, and some random person takes care of it.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Of your kid at some random location. Like, I don't know.
like,
That just feels gross.
Sketches me out
hard.
a little bit.
Yeah,
No,
like
for
I
sure.
don't know, man. That's not.
A lot of
That just
people
doesn't
don't have
feel
a
right. But
choice.
that's the way it is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have a choice, and like that's they got to work and they have to do that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, for sure.
And so like
That's kind of sad, man. Like, I don't like. That's what I was telling my wife. I was like, so I want to have a kid and just drop my kid off at a daycare, and then
You know you're gonna be a
That's what my
stay-at-home
mom
dad,
had to
bro.
do with me when she was in the military.
fuck yeah.
Oh,
I'd rather.
I was in
I'd rather.
yeah, I was in daycare morning and night.
damn,
And look at you now.
Look at me now.
Hey, you're thriving now.
Yeah.
So speaking about school, at one point, myself and Jordan were labeled the best designers in school by a teacher that we all hated.
By a specific
By the one teacher, by
yeah.
your favorite teacher, Pete.
I was like, damn, we suck, dude.
I was disappointed.
This guy's giving us props and shit. So Jordan, you now, having your career for 12 plus years, 13 plus years, where do you draw your inspiration when you come up with, new creatives? What sites do you go to? What artists besides Traplin do you look at? Like, where do you draw that inspo?
Honestly, like now, like I'll do less and less of searching around for inspo.
Damn, you're at that level, bro. Dope.
Where are you
I still
looking
do.
for
Like,
inspiration?
you still need to, like, if to get ideas, you go on like Pinterest. I'll still scroll Dribble and like, try to get inspired there. If I'm online, like, it's always best to like try to get it in the real world with like, just like real world things, I think. But also like, when you can like go to a conference, and that always helps.
Definitely fire you up.
Fire up.
What was the last
bit,
one you went to?
I usually go to Creative South. So that's like in Columbus, Georgia. And that's pretty, like, it's not too far from me. It's like, it's a little drive, but, it's usually a pretty good conference. Creative South. And I've been to like, I went to the How conference when it was in New Orleans, like years back, but usually my yearly thing is I'll drive up to Creative South,
Okay.
which is pretty cool.
What did you learn there? Like, what fires you up?
I think it's just like, all these top notch creatives in one spot where you can kind of like talk shop, see all their, everyone does like their keynotes, telling their story or, sharing what they've been working on or, AI and the ethics of it. It's sort of like a mini Adobe, sort of. Not so much on like the software, but like the work itself. Like last year, or earlier this year, they had a Lincoln Design, who I,
Mhm.
you know, love their work, and you know,
Likewise.
Yeah.
can definitely
Yeah,
draw
Same
some
here.
inspiration from them. But yeah, I think it's just like being in a place with like a ton of creatives um, who love design and illustration as much as you do. You know, it's always like, you know, you feed off of it. Feed off that energy.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I
Yeah,
mean, like you mentioned, Lincoln Design. There's not one bad thing that I've seen that they've produced. You know, the Ninja Turtle stuff, the Hot Wheels, the
dude,
Jurassic Park. To
it's
me,
like
it's like,
banger after banger.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, trying to think about like my skill set now, I'm intimidated by their work because it's like shit. I don't really can't really design that kind of style. That's not my style whatsoever. But I
Mhm.
know I could definitely figure it out, especially like those heavy 3D, more textured logos that they do for like Super Soaker or Hot
Oh
Wheels.
yeah,
Like those
yeah,
to me look really, really fun. I
yeah.
could totally see someone like you fitting in that because they do some of that style that, maybe not with the gradient so much, but you definitely could hang with them big time.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of those like 3D style logos like for casino work when I first started at Red Square. So like bevels and like, you know, 3D feeling objects. So we did a lot of that kind of stuff. But yeah, like I would like those clients are just like would be so fun to um, you know, do that type of work for.
Now, is there
Yeah.
like another step after this where you're at right now? Is there a dream client or dream job that you would see like, hey, this is where I'm gonna retire?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know if there's like an agency that I would foresee myself like, you know, wanting that goal. Like, I think maybe the next step. Like recently, I've been thinking about like, you know, just for like a freelance studio. Um, like
I
I
was
get
gonna
a
say that.
yeah. So I
Yeah. That's
was
cool.
thinking something in line with that, and like maybe like down the line, you know, a creative director somewhere. Um, but yeah, I think like a freelance studio would like allow me to sort of like lean into what I already like to do naturally. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people, you know, the clients that I get and people that inquire, like, usually want a specific style that they've seen me do. And, which is awesome. And I probably would just want to lean more into that while expanding some more skills. Like lately, I've just been kind of thinking of, you know, I don't know, the next evolution of like what my work would go to. And like maybe that's
Yeah.
motion.
I saw
Um,
you've been working on motion stuff with your illustrations.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
a
dope,
little
dude.
bit. It's just something I've been wanting to do, but I haven't like really dug into it yet.
Mhm.
So maybe something like, you know, offer that type of service. But yeah, yeah, I think a studio would be fun. Just the flexibility and yeah, there's kind of doing what I do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So at your
That's awesome.
definitely.
current, good. At your current agency that you work for, and this applies to the previous agency that you worked for, how often were you applying your specific style? Because I maybe I'm wrong. I feel like you have your specific style, but I'm sure you don't apply that to your all of your agency work, right? You have to be flexible.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have to be a chameleon when it comes to an agency. So
Yeah.
like through agency work, I've done like all types of different styles, like
Mm-hmm.
clean and crisp, and you know,
I
techie
had.
or organic, and just you know wherever like the project like you know it calls for that, then that's awesome. Like, great. Like, I'll, I'll throw down. But we would get those projects every once in a while. Like at a Red Square, we actually got to do a Snickers Halloween promotion where we built their site out, and I like did all the illustrations for it, and that was like pretty sick.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
So if Room250 wants to hire you to create a design for us for one of our shirts, how much would you charge us as a client?
He's like, shut up, Martin. We're talking about offline.
Come on, man. I can't be giving my prices out.
No. I just wanna. Well, we don't want to talk about specific prices, but what's your price range as a freelance designer? Like, how much are you charging?
I mean, I definitely have like a friend discount that I would apply, but like, I don't know if I had a client come to me wanting a shirt. I mean, they usually want multiple designs. Like they usually want like, 3 or 4 shirts. And so I'll usually like do like a bulk, like I'll lump it all together, but it would probably like equate to something from like, $400 to $700 per like t-shirt design.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually like the ballpark of like a t-shirt design. And it depends also like how detailed they want to get. So there's like certain levels to it, I guess.
The colors, the t-shirts, the style, the size of the client, cool client. Do you want to work with that client? Do you not want to work with that client? Like all those go into play for sure. Because there's some stuff where you're like, oh, I want to work with this client. And they don't have a lot of, big budget. They're like, okay, we could do this and this for that budget. But, you still want to work with them. So
like I had done a design and the creative director at Patagonia saw it and wanted to buy it. And so I did some, I added type to it and did like a custom Patagonia script underneath it. And their going price was $1,000 at that time per design. So, that was like their going rate for, purchasing t-shirt designs.
Damn, bro, you did a fucking design for Patagonia. It's fucking dope.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's inspiring.
Did you get the merch?
Inspiring.
Yeah, I got a t-shirt.
Dope.
Yeah, they paid me and I got a t-shirt. Yeah.
Nice.
Another question for you. If, let's say, AIGA or one of these design nonprofits came to you and they would just hit you up and like, hey, do you want to design something for us for our social? Would you donate your time or would you charge them?
I mean, I think it would depend on how busy I am. Like if I'm
good answer.
Honestly,
that's a great answer.
I think if I was like stacked with stuff, it would be really hard for me to like pause the paid stuff and do like something for free. But if I was like, if I had, if my schedule was like somewhat open and like, I would give back to the, the community in that sense and
just something
out.
Mm-hmm. Going off
back,
of
Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
Pete, you want to go?
Right. Going back to the whole leveling up, again, you have your unique style. You've been doing this for such a long time. Do you like doing motion? Because I mean, that's where I'm at now. Like it's how can I make my artwork move? And I've been messing with After Effects for a few years now, and then going into Final Cut or Premiere Pro, and doing sound effects and all that shit too. So it is definitely important, and it makes you a more well-rounded designer. How's that process going for you? Like, do you find it frustrating, or is it like really, really fun? And how's the learning curve on that too?
It's pretty cool. Like I'm, super preliminary stages of that, and I've like dipped into it a little bit here and there, just like very slight motion. But I think it's, if you're in a pinch and you're wanting to make something move and like, you know, you have a certain level of quality that you want it to be at. It can be frustrating because it's not something that you can just like, you know, learn and like make a great animation really quick. It definitely takes time to learn that. But um, it's not so much frustration. It's just I just wish I had more time to like allocate toward it. Like if I could like plug in like Neo and be like, you know, I can animate now, like I would do it.
Yeah.
Nah, I gotcha.
But, yeah,
Yeah, once you
it's
have kids,
fun.
that free time goes away.
Yeah. Like I've created a lot of assets for animation, like throughout the years, like, but like I think, you know, and it always like it's tricky because you don't have your own control over how it moves. Like I have an idea of like how I would want it to move, and like you know, when I create the assets, I don't have any control on that. So other than like suggestions or you know whatnot, but I do like the idea of like having a lot of control over that.
Nice. Sly?
Yeah,
Go
Well,
Sly.
you went to a different topic. I'm bringing back to freelance
yeah.
for for people who are watching that might not have any freelance. How do you get your freelance? Do people reach out to you? Do you find people, or maybe when you were starting, did you reach out to people for freelance, like to do that for them?
Yeah, a lot of it. Honestly, it was like the more that I like would put my work out there, that's when like you know it took a long time. It didn't take like overnight whatsoever. But like the more that I like put stuff out there, and you know, that's just the more people saw it, and they would start to like roll in a little bit. You know, then I would start getting inquiries. Like you know, it took a little while to get like legit ones. There are like smaller ones here and there. Um, but yeah, it took a minute, and like now a lot of it now is like so I don't even my website is just like a splash page. I don't even really like I haven't kept up with it because I've been like
Yeah.
just busy with like freelance and stuff or agency and like just all the freelance has mostly been either through Instagram or Dribble and then word of mouth. So
Do you
Hey,
think
you still
those are
have
the
that
two
same photo from
places?
college. Sorry.
would it say what?
He said you still have the same photo from college, but I was gonna say, do you find it's like those are the two main sources that you get hit up on, like Instagram and Dribble? Like, is that where people should be posting, or like
Uh,
Behance? You know, a lot of people used to use Behance, and I
yeah,
think still do. For sure.
oh yeah, I think Behance is great.
hmm I don't
I,
see a link for it on your website though.
no, I don't have a Behance. Only
It's
because
great, but I don't have one.
only because I feel like that's like a web. It's almost like having a, you know,
Hmm.
I feel like if you have a Behance, you might as well just have a portfolio website.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, honestly, like as long as you're putting it out there, like a lot of people are looking at Behance and you know seeing work. Um, and like I'm not on Dribble as much, but I still, you know, I still go on there and like post once in a while. Um,
I don't know, bro. Last time I saw it was 2019.
Yeah, I was just
no,
looking at it
You're
right now.
slacking, Jordo. You're
that's only
slacking.
Hey, I
that's
get it,
only
man. Sometimes like trying to keep up on all that stuff, trying to keep
Yeah.
your website refreshed, and then at least for me, I preach all this shit about your portfolio and your resume being up to date, but there's just times where my website, I'm like, okay, I have at least 12 projects that I need to organize on my website and on my Behance, and you try to do, at least for me, the way I see it is like, here's my pretty stuff on my website, and then here's more detailed stuff on my Behance, and then just here's my logos on my Dribble. Like my Dribble is just
Mhm.
straight up logos and little minor
Yeah.
illustrations. But
yeah.
you get lost, man, because you're like, oh shit, I gotta save this one, I gotta do this, and then it's production work. It's a production work on your own stuff that you're like, I don't really want to fucking do it. I have a job, I can't get
Yeah.
more freelance, but it gets tiresome. I just want to kind of chill. So sometimes you need to do that production day though. But I get it, man. Trust me. There's like
This
30
is him
things I need
without
to
a beard.
dribble, and I'm like, I'll figure it out.
I know. Yeah, like honestly, like building each project is a design job basically. Like like
Yeah.
I work with these guys, whiskey design. They're in Kansas City, and like their portfolio is like they'll blow out a case study, and it looks like they treat each case study like its own project. I worked on some labels for like this cocktail. So it was like,
Dope.
yeah, they do really good work. But
I like their
yeah,
type. I really like their type.
like Mai Tai illustrations for I forget the brewery, but they came out with like these cocktails in a can and worked with them, and
Cocktails
they
in a
just,
can. That
Oh, is that the Mai Tai Fling?
yeah, the fling, yeah.
Yeah.
thing.
I actually used your Mai Tai Fling as inspiration when I interviewed with Dutch Bros. They wanted me to
Oh,
create
nice.
some design stuff and like three different design mood boards, and one of them was kind of like inspired by yours, and I
Oh,
took the
sick.
snapshot and did the stylescape and my own little illustrations, and um, yeah, no, so thank you for that. I didn't end up getting the job, obviously, but it was
Yeah.
actually really fun to pull like those kind of assets, and being interviewed by Dutch Bros. Like they are a really fun company. Like they
Oh
they
yeah.
they want to slap their logo on everything, and you could do almost anything with their logo. So that's pretty rad.
Oh, that
Still
was,
bummed about that one. I still drive by that place and say, "F you, Dutch Bros." Nah, just kidding.
oh, really? Yeah,
Fuck you
I've heard of them.
guys.
Just with teenagers making your coffee.
Sorry,
We don't
I'm
hold
looking
Dutch
for it.
Bros.
I'm not sure if I see it. The Mai Tai
Mai
one.
Tai.
Maybe I passed it.
Oh, here, no,
So it was like a few years ago. So it's from
Oh, okay. Yeah, they might have updated. Yeah, for sure.
it's in the
from,
chat, Sly.
but if you
That's the
click
dribble
Oh,
into
okay.
shot.
like their just any case study, they just blow it out like
Full blown
Yeah.
design. That's dope,
Oh,
though.
this is sick. Yeah.
but
Yeah, like that open spaces one looks really good.
when I saw their case studies, I was like, I don't even want to like put my stuff on my portfolio unless I do like a case study like that.
Yeah, I feel you,
Sly,
man.
we're-
I do the same stuff too.
Yeah,
we're
there's
still
even
good.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
there's
There
elements
you
that I'll
go.
just create, and I'm like, okay, this is the kind of style that I wanted to go for. So totally feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Because yeah, you had that pink one, and then you had like a teal one, right? Or was that someone else?
For
Here you go. Oh, it's
for the
Fling.
Mai Tai?
Okay, yeah, I was passing it up.
yeah, so they did like several cans where like each one had like its own specific vibe.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at I think it was Whole Foods. I took a picture and I sent it to you.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool seeing like when your friends create shit like that and it's out in the wild.
Yeah.
Posters and billboards, we think we all have done those, but seeing something more like this, at least for me, I love craft beer and alcohol, so getting
Yeah.
involved into that, it's just like,
Here
dude,
we
that's
go.
dope. I know this guy. I know the guy who did this.
Yeah, so here's their whole series on it. So
Yeah.
you did the specific one for the Mai Tai? This one?
Right. Yeah.
And
So I
then
just did the illustrations alone. They had their like design system sort of fleshed out and already. And
Okay.
then we did like all the
oh, this one's
the illustrations to sort of like put around on the cans. But see, they built this little like fake volcano and stuff on it. And,
yeah, this is cool.
Like all
So
the
you
like
didn't-
all this is like they photographed I think all of this
Mhm.
stuff and then like photoshopped it in post and
So you didn't lay out the can art. You did the illustrations, and then they took it over.
yeah they commissioned me to do like I forget how many illustrations it was maybe like 12 or something like that.
Oh shit! Okay.
What's
What was
dope?
the design brief like? Did they tell you like, hey, this is kind of like what we're looking for? in like a Word doc, or they were just like verbally told you?
So he had like specific like prompt ideas that he wanted, like, and then I just kind of like ran with those ideas.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of rare that you get that from like for an illustration project. Like they might have like certain parameters like that they want, or like a certain vibe, and like, we want, this, or like just certain, like when I was working with Backcountry, like my first project was designing like wrapping paper for them. So like, we love your style, but we want like Yetis and like, reindeer and like quirky kind of like, backcountry vibes, but with your style. And so, yeah, like all those I did for them, and like they wanted this.
Oh, you did this?
Yeah, these like
You can totally see that's you.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. Like you see it and you're like, that's Jordan. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't want to assume.
Jordan
I was
did
just like,
that.
oh man, like this is
like,
it's like right here on the front page.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
like for them, like they have like a really, they have a lot of great like brand designers there, and so they just take like my illustrations and kind of work them into like these layouts here.
Yeah.
Like if you go to one of their, I don't know if it's all their stores, but like they have them all over the store, like, kind of like muraled in some areas.
Oh, that's
Damn,
awesome,
dude. That's dope.
But I think I've done like hundreds of illustrations for them, like in that sort of like style. But yeah.
You're definitely like an inspiration, Jordan. Have you ever thought about taking someone under your wing and just teaching them the ropes of your style? Because that's
Martin's asking right now. He's hitting on you.
Hey, Bobby. No, my coworker loves your style, bro. She's like all in love with your work. She's like, I love his work so much. So she's the one that was like, you ask him how he gets it done. That's why I was like, oh, show me your process.
Yeah,
she's gonna be blushing right now listening to this.
Yeah,
I definitely had like a couple people hit me up, and that's one I'm like trying to like. I would like to put together something that like kind of like, does an A to B kind of thing.
Bro, wait. You're coming to Vegas, right? Like,
yeah.
When? Next year?
Well,
why don't you do a class with AIGA if you have time? Just show your process. There we go.
See that
And we'll
hypothetical
record it.
earlier? Martin's already thinking, how can I?
I'm like, dude, we could record it and then we could just give it to you and just give it to whoever you want.
Yeah. I mean,
Think
I
about
would do it. I did something similar at Jacksonville State University. One of my buddies he's a professor up there, and he brought me.
Wait, hold on. Why do birds suddenly appear? Pete's like, oh, in love with you right now. Look at him. He's just like, he's my inspiration right now.
I'm thinking of looking at a photo.
I would be open to like doing like a little workshop. I think that'd be fun.
I'm sorry.
dude.
Before Martin cut you off, you were talking about doing something at a university.
Oh yeah, so I did something similar where I just like went and like did some like
a life drawing class, and
yeah,
you were
I
nude.
like drew and like talked about process.
He's like,
you were the model. You were the live nude model.
Yeah.
He's like, this is how I draw. I'm in my element. Okay, we call this the helicopter. Troll. It's like a pendulum.
don't get too close. I'll knock you out.
You have graphite powder, and then you just dip it in there. You just okay, this is how I make.
Are you
clouds.
sure you want you?
Yeah. Today we're drawing clouds, nothing but
Like
clouds.
LeBron, are you just like
That's cool.
Dope,
So
man.
you led
Dope.
like
That's
a
awesome.
life drawing class and like showed them kind of
yeah, it was
your
just,
style
like,
and how you come up with stuff.
yeah, pretty
That's
much.
cool, man.
But yeah.
Do you do any other kind of like illustration styles, like comic books or realistic or color pencil? Like, what kind of mediums do you also use?
So as far as like style, I haven't really done too much like realism. I've done things where like if I needed to reference like a specific look of a person, like I'll draw on top of it, just for speed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not too much realism. Usually, if I do realism, it's more so like. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Ooh, what
is that
kind?
yours?
Side
Show
track,
'em
what
your
kind of
dog
dog
out.
you got?
Yeah.
Yeah, what kind of dog you got?
She's a shepherd mix.
Okay.
Nice.
Name?
Yeah, she's somewhere. She's old. She's getting old. She's like 11.
What's her name?
Mine's back
Yeah.
there.
It's Butters.
Butter.
Hey guys. I think it'd be cool to see like your illustration style, and you did something with like your version of like the Avengers or like Dragon Ball Z, Spider-Man. Like just seeing that. I don't know. I can see like your version of Spider-Man wearing a hat and like their beer belly hanging out, and he's like has a little beer and like fucking spraying out a web or something. I don't know. It's just
Like the web top.
Yeah, something like that, or like Thor. I think it'd be kind of cool to see something like that.
I would love
Fat
to
Thor.
Yeah, no, I would love to work on like those type of properties. I think that would be fun. I talked with like David Resto like a long time ago, and he's over at Results.
Yeah.
So he has like a bunch of those licenses that he gets to work on, like
Yeah, it's super cool.
like Ninja Turtles and all that stuff.
Yeah. He uses himself as a model too.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to. When I saw like one picture of the shirt and I saw the sleeve, and I'm like, this guy, I know whose sleeve that is.
Yeah.
I can't blame him. I would do the same thing. I'm like, hey, give me my shirt.
Yeah. Right.
I haven't talked to him in a while, but it's probably been like 2 years since I talked to him. But I need to hit him up and be like, hey, what's the homie discount on those shirts? Because I'll rock those all day, man. I love those shirts.
They have some fun ones. Like I've seen other designers do some fun like Star Wars designs for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like it'd be fun to like do like my sort of take on a.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you ever like thought about just doing a fabric design? And have you guys ever thought about that, like printing your own fabric with your own like designs and stuff? Because that'd be in your style would be fucking dope. I'd make a shirt out of that.
I've done it for I have to remember the name. I've done a couple patterns.
Yeah, I've never done a pattern like that, Martin. So it's never crossed my mind.
Same.
So I worked with this dude. He owns this company called Bird Dog Bay, and they do like high end like bow ties and like swim trunks and stuff. And they do like belts, all types of stuff. And I've done some swim trunk patterns, and I've done some like just some other.
You said Bird Dog Bay?
Yeah, it's like Southern wear. Like they do like it's a lot of it's like
bow ties.
Yeah. So I've done like
interesting,
like on their swimwear, like I did like the tiki pattern illustrations.
Man's best friend.
There's like one on a paddleboard. I did that little dog.
Oh, nice.
I clicked the link. It's just taking a while to load for me.
Okay. I did like a turtle pattern.
The dog on the shorts you said, right?
Yeah. So I did a bunch of these swim trunk patterns.
I'm not sure why my internet's so slow right now.
That's dope, dude. You're all over the place, Jordan.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's great. Like it's your stuff's all like on clothing, on websites, on like music festivals. Like, damn, bro, that's fucking dope.
Yeah,
That's so funny. There's like 3 companies called Bird Dog. It's like this
Oh,
one that
yeah.
you're just talking about, and there's
This one
Bird
is
Dog.
Bird Dog Bay.
Yeah, then there's Bird Dogs, and then there's
Here we
Bird Dog TV. It's like surveillance or something. That's so funny. So this is the illustration you did?
Yeah, this like
That's
little,
pretty sick,
like,
man.
yeah.
Honestly,
Do you
bro, I'm not
get,
surprised. I'm not surprised by the stuff that you're doing, because that totally matches, your style and the stuff that you do. So it's so great to see, from music festival to patterns, clothing, agency work. Like it's not surprised to see how much your career has grown since AI and being here in Vegas.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
It's, I mean, just burning the candle at both ends. That's what this is. This is like
what it takes.
It's it's being obsessed with it. Really, is why
For everybody that's listening. That's what
No,
it
and
takes.
that's the greatest thing you could have said right now, because that's what it's gonna take if you want to be, when you get into our industry, you got to decide what kind of designer you're gonna be, and if you just want to be a 9 to 5 designer, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a designer at Jordan's level or Pete's level, like, that's what it takes. You got to burn the candle from both ends, and that's it.
gotta put
Weekends, you're gonna be working. After hours, you go home and you work, and then you find some time for yourself. But 80% of your life is design, right, guys? Or what's the percentage of that?
I mean, it was definitely a lot. Like, I would say, like, I mean, you kind of find an identity in it, in a way where it's like, that you're just like, so, just obsessed with it. And that's what you want to do. Like, even if you're bored, like, some people might watch like Netflix or something. Like, a lot of times, like,
I think we should call it something else but obsessed, because obsessed make it seem like it's a bad thing, and it's not a bad thing. You guys are just doing...
I'm passionate.
You're passionate about your craft, and that's what it is. It's passion. It's not obsession.
I don't think
because
obsessed is a bad thing, though.
But it has that negative connotation that you can't stop. You're not doing it because you can't not do it. You're doing it because you're leveling yourself up. And that's what it is. You're leveling up your craft. And you know that it's like making a fucking a katana, right? You have to bang it and you have to bang it. And that's what you're doing with your pencil. And when you go home and you design, you're just designing. You're creating your edge. And that's the beauty of it. So I wouldn't, it's an obsession, but it's you're passionate about your shit, man. And it's awesome. And it shows for both of you guys.
Yeah, and a lot of it, like, I would say, like, when I was, like, working a bunch at, like, just agency stuff, like, it was, like, an outlet, too, at a certain level. Like, before, like, I was getting paid, like, by clients to make this stuff. I would basically make the work that I wanted to get hired for. So that's the stuff that I would put out and, like, practice, like, after hours, like, after, agency work. And, and part of that was, like, I wasn't getting to do this type of work at the agency. Like, I did some fun, like, cool stuff at the agency, and, like, some of it overlapped a little bit, but, you can really, like, cut loose, on your own time. And, that's just how it kind of, like, snowballed and started.
You guys are feeding your artsy side. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because there's times at work where you're just doing what you need to do for your paycheck, but you don't get that full on creative outlet, And last season we talked about how you should do something for yourself, because our passion is our workload now, and this is how we earn our income and we make a living for our families. But then it still needs to be fun, man. Like, still, spray paint something or do something on graphite or whatever, like, when's the last time you did a fun project for yourself? Because that's the thing, is like, just remembering to do that fun stuff just ignites that fire again. Because I mean, how many car sales ads can you really do? How many times can I do the fucking magazine and photo shoots and all this other shit? It's like, well, I just want to draw Captain America. I'm not going to get paid for that. But I
just want to draw dicks.
That's you, but I want to spend 40 hours on a Captain America graphite piece. That to me is fun. It's super fun. So, but I don't get to get paid for that. That's on my time and my passion, and it gets me away from the screen. But also,
you could go the Arnell route and just do the prints.
Yeah.
That too.
Arnell leaned into that, and I think he built a successful gig for himself doing that stuff. But yeah,
he's over with Funko now, or he was. Him and his wife were with Funko, and then she got fired. And I think he might have been let go too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think his wife
was doing the Funko Pops, which is, I mean, I remember his illustration style. Like, he was good. Back when I was illustrating heavily, I could hang with him to an extent, and then afterwards, it wasn't me. Like when it came to illustration, to me, Arnell was up there, but the person who was bigger was Michael Chu. I don't know if you remember him, Jordan.
He was
but that dude was talented beyond anything when it came to illustration. You tell him something and he would just do it right there, and I'm over here compositing it in Photoshop and getting references and everything. I'm like, okay, now I know how to illustrate it, and he's just like, boop, 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 boop,
you just knock it out. He's a great illustrator.
Just raw talent,
for sure.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen him.
Yeah, he's
out of Texas
art
now.
Director out of Texas with T-Mobile, or senior art director. He was at UFC for, I think, close to 10 years. I could be wrong.
Oh, wow.
And then moved to Texas, and he's a senior art director for T-Mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy to just see like where everyone's at, what paths they took, and who stayed in town, and who didn't do anything.
A lot of our like class, or like the people that were like within like a year of our graduation, all seem to do pretty well. Like there's always like those couple of people who are like, they're not gonna make it.
There's some.
Hey, I was one of those. I'll be honest. I ain't gonna. That's what I like. I love telling my story. Like I was mediocre, bro. When I graduated, I wasn't that great.
No,
but
there were some folks.
I pushed myself.
Like, there were some folks who were like, why are they here? Like,
Yep.
And some of them graduated.
There were some gothic folk that were like, I don't know how you're gonna get a
every
job.
Was like an anime character, like anime, but you can't just make that every Friday.
Exactly. Everything was one specific style. Like, no, they would never do that. Well, how do you know? No, they would never do that, man. All right. Starbucks would never put their logo on the seam. Well, you don't know that. Like, okay.
Dude, honestly, art school was a hilarious experience. Like it was fun. Like there's like some weird characters. Like,
oh yeah, no, for sure. I remember some of the kids that were getting internships before me, and I'm like, damn, these kids suck. Like, how are they getting hired? And I'm not getting shit. I'm not getting a phone call. Like, damn, man, I must not be good.
They have people skills. All right, Pete.
I guess. Fuck that.
Yeah, I never thought after my whole path, like I never thought that me, Sly, and Pete would be creating a podcast and be best friends.
Talking about design.
Here we are. Talking about design. Awesome. Like I thought Sly was fucking weird, and I thought Pete was kind of a dick. A lovable asshole.
We're still the same people. Still weird and.
No, I mean, I had this idea like a long time ago, just like how can we launch it, and then just hanging with Sly and Martin more, and just kind of developing and talking, and bro, we did a couple of test shots. We tried a few things. We did cameras. I mean, we went through the ringer on this, then we finally landed on here, and it's just been rolling, and it's really fun. It's super fun because we catch up with friends like you, and we have other guests that are coming on, and it's just cool. It's cool to shoot the shit and talk about design and talk about your passion with other creatives. How different do you see like the design on? You're what, more East Midwest? What would you call your region?
Oh no, it's
East Coast,
definitely Southeast.
Oh, Southeast.
So Southeast compared to like West Coast.
An hour from Florida.
Oh, okay.
And 2 hours from New Orleans.
so southeast to Florida to West Coast, how much does graphic design like change between those zones?
I think a lot. They definitely have their own vibes to them. I think with the digital age, like more like I think like the tech era, sort of like uh, I don't know. It kind of has this like look that kind of spans anywhere. Like if you know like I don't know, just the Silicon Valley tech illustration style. I think that's everywhere. But I would say when I moved to the South, I was like real surprised at the talent that was down here. Um, it's yeah, I think it varies. Like now, like I think a lot of it blends together, but yeah, I'm not sure how it would like vary. Like I don't know, like specifically how I would describe it. Um,
But you do see a difference though, like it's a style, like how certain
Kind of,
agencies. Okay,
yeah, I think so. I think maybe just like clientele and culture kind of has a play on that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think, yeah, I would say clientele and culture probably um, has some influence on that. When I was at Red Square, like we honestly had clients everywhere though, so we were able to kind of fit whatever the client needed style wise. We had just a super talented team. Um, as far as like uh, great like web designers and illustration and just good graphic designers, but yeah, I mean the talent it does fluctuate, but or like there's some nuances, but um,
gotcha. So, what advice do you give to up and coming designers or even current designers that are looking to get promotions or laterals or change agencies? Like, what do you advise? What's your advice to them as far as portfolio, resumes, all that stuff? Like, what do you?
um, I guess it depends on what their specific scenario is, but I mean, I would just say like I would put out as much work as you can and try to like um, hone your craft as much as possible, um, and just build your portfolio as you go. And I'll say like you know if you don't have much of a portfolio, just make up stuff. Like honestly, like if somebody just I don't care. I wouldn't care if it was like a made up company versus a real company.
Yeah.
Like you can tell if somebody's got chops. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
if it's yeah, I mean I did that. I did that occasionally where I just make up something that I wanted to do a design for, like a beer can or something, and
Mm-hmm.
people see that, and honestly, I don't think people care if it's fake or not, or just start building it, um, and hone your craft. Look at other designers, see what they're doing. Like you can't design in a bubble. You have to look and see what the status quo is, and you know uh, you kind of have to measure yourself to it. Just you know you got to know what's a good design and good illustration and work towards that. You know.
Do
For
you
sure.
do you think that somebody should have a more designed resume like how we did when we were in school, or should they have a more toned back kind of resume now
Um. Yeah.
and
I
let the
don't think it
portfolio?
needs. Yeah. I don't think it needs to be. I think it should be laid out nicely. I think you should
Mm-hmm.
grid it out and you know throw some columns in there and just like lay it out nice. Like, you don't just type it out in Word and let that format your resume. I think you should lay it out nice, and I don't think you need any like
Fancy
Illustrator
stuff.
And going off of resumes, do you think somebody needs to have a degree or not?
That's a good one. I mean,
because we all have degrees, but
Yeah.
there's also people that do design work that's like amazing that didn't go to school for it.
honestly, I mean, I don't think so. I think school was great. It taught us to use the programs. It forced us to, like, we were there, we had to do these programs, and we had to like learn these things and these like, basic design skills. And I think that's a valuable thing to have. But I mean, some people can kind of navigate through that, or, in other ways. And, you have some like self-taught illustrators out there, like motion graphics people that do pretty good. And I don't, they learn by seeing other work. So I don't think so. I don't think it's a requirement anymore.
Yeah.
It's just knowing where to go to like get your chops from. You know what I mean? Like, something has to be your school, whether it's like
YouTube or regular college.
YouTube, an institution. Yeah.
I still use. I will admit this. I will YouTube some shit that I have forgotten.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, how do I soften the edges again? Oh yeah, that's right. Because you can't. At least for me, I'm like, I remember all this shit for After Effects and Premiere Pro and Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, and then I forget a simple fundamental thing. Like, fuck, how do I do that again? Oh, okay, gotcha. Let me YouTube it. Yeah. Duh. All right, now I remember. So
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with YouTube.
Scrub through the content to get to the
8-minute video,
pretty much like
content,
stop talking.
5 minutes in.
Like, no.
Yeah,
well, we're gonna wrap this up now, Jordan. It's a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have you on here and like just talk to you. And I look forward for you to come to Vegas, and I'll hit you up for other stuff. But I want to leave this episode with this question for you. Talking to Sly and Pete about a week or two ago, I define Room250 as that one spot in your house when you're a kid, and to me it was drawing, and there's a spot somewhere where you go and you focus all your energy and then you put it on paper and you're in your spot. And that's what Room250 was for me at AI, the spot where we could all get together and sit down and just focus on our shit. And if I got stuck, I'd be like, yo, Pete, help me out with this shit. What do you think? And then he gives me feedback. And then it was just a place where we could open up and design freely and get ideas and bounce ideas. It was a creative spot. What was Room250 for you? Since you are one of the OGs.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was like, kind of like a dojo where you like go and like hone your shit.
Yeah. It's a good one.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of hours spent in there. Like, after class is over, you hang back and keep working on stuff. It's just like that spot where you hone your craft. Honestly, like kind of like a dojo. But I mean, sometimes there was class going on there. I couldn't go in Room250, so I had to go to like the smelly computer lab with the.
Oh yeah, that I hated that lab.
Oh, the render farm.
The open
downstairs by the audio people. Yeah. And you had you had a bunch of weirdos in that room too, bro. You had a bunch of weirdos that would come in and they'd be watching weird shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, that was not a creative spot for sure.
They'd be playing music loud on their phone, like instead of having earbuds. You're like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah. You're not cool. This isn't high school. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, man.
Yeah.
I remember at Room250, I don't know who did it, but they did that rainbow cat with the Pop-Tart. And it was all the way across the screens from the edge to edge, and then finished all the way to the beginning. I remember walking in, and it was just this big rainbow thing. I'm like, okay.
That's
Oh yes,
really-
again.
I think that was me.
That sounds about right. That sounds
Was
about
it?
right.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I have a photo of it somewhere, but
I know I have
that's
somewhere, but yeah, brother, it was great talking with you. You know, we could definitely do
Yeah.
this again some other time. And
Definitely.
you know, sorry for the time difference. I know it's like 10 o'clock
Yeah.
already for you, and you're like 50
That's
years
all good.
old, so you want to go to sleep.
It's all
Just
good.
playing. But no, man, it's great conversation. Great picking your brain. Again, so awesome. So proud of you for where you're at now and all the things that you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like I said last time we hung out, I was blackout drunk, and it was amazing. So sorry for not saying bye, but you know, it's great. It's great to see you know, our friends, you know, blow up that way and just keep on fucking crushing and just doing what you do,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
So
I
thanks
just
for
want
inspiring
to
me and
share
people.
one photo.
Okay.
You know, I was looking for photos. This is a photo of me and Jordan at graduation.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Me being the weird guy, you know.
Dude,
Dude, you don't
stayed
even
up-
look like you, Jordan.
Doesn't even look like you at all, bro.
I was running on zero sleep because I stayed up all night making those giveaways.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
hey,
what you-
I still have your giveaway, bro. It's in my office.
What was the
I
giveaway?
kept that shit
That's
as a piece
awesome.
of wood. Plank. It was a plank
Yeah, like
oh, that's right.
with his designs on it.
I printed all these this design, and I did a transfer of it was like an inkjet transfer on a wood plank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's right. I forgot about that. I still have your business card somewhere, but we did an event with
Pull it
AIGA.
And we
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
everybody
Oh, yeah.
basically brought your card.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the
Awesome.
card to
That's
bring.
when I did the letterpress one. I think it was like
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
everybody was doing the
Letter press.
Bam.
Yeah, it was pretty much that on a plank.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I told you the hand
Man.
works.
It was that. Yeah,
There you go. Oh, I'll give out your number.
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's it
That's
right
so
there,
funny.
man. Jordan.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Good shit, brother. Good shit. All right, Martin, that's all
Good
you.
shit, man. That's it. Hey guys, we hope we inspired you with this one. I'm definitely inspired. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, hit us up on Instagram and the TikTok for as long as it lives. I don't know. They said they're gonna
Don't
ban
forget
that
to
shit.
like,
I'm sure
share,
they will. Don't forget
subscribe.
to like, share, follow us. If we hit up 250 followers, we're gonna
I'm
get
gonna
branded.
get a tattoo.
Tattoo.
Martin's getting branded. I'm getting
Yeah,
a
Martin's
tattoo.
I'm getting tattooed. I'm gonna get a tattoo.
That's
And then
awesome.
we'll drop Jordan's socials in the comments below on here for YouTube. So
Cool.
you want to follow him on Instagram. Yeah. Any other social that you want to share?
That's really where I'm at.
Or your
It's
dribble.
Instagram.
All right.
And,
Yeah.
dribble.
We'll link your dribble and website and all that stuff
Cool.
in the description below. So hang tight real quick, Jordan,
Stop.
and then everybody else. Peace out.
We're out. Later, guys.
Yeah. Later, guys.